Lynn Longmaid. I'm a restaurant broker and consultant at Santa Rosa Business and Commercial in Sonoma County, California, and I'm the founder and host of this series, Deep Dish Live, where we explore the business of restaurants for restaurateurs, restaurant buyers and sellers, and the restaurant curious. Welcome to episode 9, where I'm going to be discussing the restaurant list price, the price that a restaurant's advertised for, and the eventual sales price, what a restaurant actually sells for, and why those prices can vary. Deep Dish streams once monthly and runs about 30 minutes long. It's live streamed from one of your favorite San Francisco Bay Area restaurants, bars, and cafes. Today we're in downtown Novato at the lovely Chylde Bakery, and the owner, Karen Weaver, she'll be joining me in just a minute. But first, I'd like to introduce you to my support staff today. Behind the camera, I have Ed Troxel. He's a live video consultant for business marketing.
Hey, hey.
That's Ed, and you don't see her, but she's working her magic in her home office, is Holly Hansen. She's the founder of Holly Hansen Public Relations, and she helps me post to the live feed important resources like maybe the website here, Ed's website, my website, and so Holly's at home working her magic. Hi, Holly. So let's see. If you've watched the previous episodes, you know that we give away a $100 gift card to anyone who likes and makes a comment on the feed, either while we're live streaming or anytime between now and 30 days to the next episode. So today I'm going to be announcing the winner of Cafe Della Valle, which is in Napa County in downtown St. Helena. We'll do that at the end of the episode, but if you would like the opportunity to win a gift card to the host restaurant bakery today, Chylde Bakery, please, again, like or post a comment on this feed, and you can, we'll post this other places. It'll be on LinkedIn, it'll be on our YouTube channel, but if you write a comment, you'll be automatically entered to win a $100 gift card to here, Chylde Bakery, and we'll announce that in a month, and you've got a month to do it too. You can do it during the live feed or anytime between now and and next month, let's see, August 18th, I'll be at, let's see, where am I going to be? Hop Creek Gastro Pub and Nano Brewery in Napa County. And yeah, I hope you can join me then. So let's see. I'm going to go over to Karen for a second. I'm going to introduce you to the owner and operator, Karen Weaver. Hi, nice to see you.
Nice seeing you
so
too.
I worked with Karen on the purchase of Chylde in 2019. Yep. And we're going to use this as a case study for today's topic, but I'll get to that later. I talked to Karen, I said, I hope I don't trigger any PTSD when we talk about it. So Karen, tell us a little bit about Chylde.
As Rin mentioned, it was about 2 years ago, come September. I bought the business. I had just recently graduated from culinary school in nutrition, and then found an actually extern here. But the business actually started in 2002. With one tort being sold at the farmer's market, and through that mechanism, they found out that a lot of people were concerned about health, and so the bakery turned into an all gluten-free bakery.
So it's a 100% gluten-free bakery, which is amazing. The products they bring out of here, and it's been gluten-free since 2002.
Yes.
Okay, want to give us a tour?
Yeah. So I'm sorry, one of the lights is out on our display case, but many of the things here are from the original owners, but we have found that many people have other health issues. So we have paleo, and lifestyle, like vegan, sugar-free, and whatnot. So this is the primary case, and then we have our cakes as well. So they're just a larger version of our twins.
Will you show us a little bit about, I know that the seating's been limited due to COVID. You've got this beautiful inside space. Can you show us, you also offer outside seating in the beautiful downtown Novato?
Yes. As a result of COVID, we have changed our hours from to 9 to 4 instead of 9 to 6.
Okay,
So,
7 days a week, or are you closed?
6 days a week.
6 days a week,
Yeah.
okay. So you're closed on Sundays?
Yeah.
Closed on Sundays.
We do have limited space, obviously, in the retail. We do have our external dining outside. And we are hoping to, we're working right now with our landlord to expand into the next door. So that'll give us about another 1,000 square feet of dining space and classroom space.
Right. Well, Karen will be rejoining us at the end of the episode. She's going to put up some of the beautiful baked goods that Flower Child offers and be discussing a little bit more about what you can expect when you come here. So again, if you weren't able to hear Karen, they're going to be expanding the space here in downtown Novato, which is so great. As we see some of the restaurants and cafes struggling, Flower Child's been thriving. So it's great to see you, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Thanks, Brent.
Okay, and I'll let you in. Mentioned today, I'm going to be talking about the restaurant list price versus the restaurant sales price and why they differ. So, and again, what I'm talking about by the restaurant list price, that's the price that we put online, the advertised price, and the sales price is the eventual price that the seller gets. So the first thing that can affect that price is pricing it correctly. I've talked about this. Ed could probably do a Facebook Live series on how to price restaurants. I'll quickly say it's a multiple of a weighted average of SDE, and that sounds like, if that sounds like Greek, jump onto episode 3 of Deep Dish Live, where I live stream from Ballet, and I explain it in great detail. So if a seller isn't interested in selling the restaurant, bar, or cafe for what it actually valued for, what a qualified restaurant broker who's dug through the financials and mentions to the seller, stresses to the seller that this is the market value of the restaurant or bar or cafe. If they decide that they want to list it over that, the business broker has to have a very frank conversation with the seller that business may not sell. It's very rare that a retail business such as a bar or cafe doesn't sell because there's so much attractive infrastructure. For instance, here at Flower Child, there's a gorgeous back of the house, full production bakery. There's walk-ins, there's hoods, there's rotating ovens, there's mixers, those are trade fixtures, but there's tons of fixed assets. So it's rare that a restaurant, bar, or cafe does not sell, but the reason that most of them don't sell is that they're overpriced. And you guys, this is so strange, but it's true. The market the market punishes restaurants that are priced inappropriately. So let's say, and a broker's a seller comes to me and wants to sell it for above market, I'm gonna take the listing. Not without having a frank conversation with them, but once it goes live, the marketing goes live, we'll get an influx of queries from buyers. And they'll take a look at the financials and they'll know, this is priced too high, who's gonna pay this? And they go away. They don't usually come back as that price starts to get down to what the broker thought it should be. Now, there are exceptions to this rule for sure. So, sometimes, well, if the restaurant is priced properly, the buyer is usually going to put an offer in at the list price or not too far away, maybe 10% less. So that's one thing that might chip away a little bit at that list price versus sales price. The other thing that happens, and I allude to this, I'm going to talk about it more deeply today. There's two other things that can affect, there's many things, but two main things that affect the eventual sales price. One is landlord negotiations, the lease terms the landlord's going to offer the buyer. That's one, and I'll talk about that. And the other one is the municipality, the agencies that the premise has to get sign off on or has to get licenses or permits through, mainly the health department, but in other municipalities, they might require, they might require all these other agencies to come on site and sign off before the premise is issued their business license. But the main one is the health department, and I'll talk about that. So let's talk about the landlord. So let's say, here's a perfect example. I have a client right now who's been operating a wildly successful, again, bakery actually, up in Sonoma County for 30 years. And they are located in a space that was a good space, but over time has become an incredible space. The demographic has changed radically in the 30 years she's been operating, and now it's a destination location for high-end, wealthy tourists. So she's now in this really cool position of paying below market rent because the environment around her created this environment. But what's going to happen at the change of ownership is the landlord's going to bring that rent to market rate. So the buyer isn't going, the historical financials of the seller are going to show a different profit margin than the projected financials of the buyer. And because of this, the buyer might ask the seller for a discount. In this case, it's not going to happen because this location is so sought after and it's so rare that anything ever comes available. There might actually be a bidding war, which I say never happens, but it might happen here. So that's landlord. The other thing is the health department site review, and I talk to you guys about this all the time because it's one of the most brutal and painful processes that change of ownership restaurant, bars, and cafes go under. Actually, when Karen, so I'll give the example here with Karen. So what happens at the change of ownership, when an operator, the health department comes in regularly to an operation, and you see the posters on the window, maybe quarterly, but those are sort of maintenance checks. Is the dishwasher warm enough? Is the bleach solution strong enough? Are the employees, do they have their serve safe permits? So, but at change of ownership, it's a completely different department within the department that comes on site and they do code enforcement. They don't do this during the regular operations of a business because they don't want to put an unnecessary burden on the operator. Like maybe the operator wouldn't be able to come up to code and to continue to keep operating. So they do it at the change of ownership. And it can be as simple as you need to install cleanable surface 8 feet above the mop sink, easy peasy, or it can be as difficult as you need to replace the hood because your hood is no longer in compliance. And that's a $50,000 fix. And the restaurant goes down for the time it takes to do that. So I'm going to give an example here. When Karen bought Flower Child Bakery, the sellers were really clear. This is our price, period. We don't care what happens with the landlord. We don't care what happens with the health department. This is our price. And what happened was, I think it was sewer and water. They required the grease trap to go in ground. So that's easy enough. It was a very difficult thing to do because it required a lot of time. There had to be a building permit. So because a building permit was being pulled, there had to be plans that were stamped by a licensed architect or engineers. So those plans had to be drawn. And then we had to have concrete contractors. We had to have plumbing contractors. We had to, how is it going to happen? They're going to be cutting concrete in the back of a functioning bakery. So the bakery had to close down. So yes, the seller said, we're not going to reduce the purchase price, but what the seller did do is they're paying rent the entire time this process is happening. They're paying their employees the entire time this is happening. They're the ones who, when the business closes down, feel that financial pain. So again, it's a little bit of it's a big negotiation, and a qualified restaurant broker, in this case me, helps guide through that process. So one thing, actually, let's take a little break. I'm going to take a little break. If you're just joining us, this is Deep Dish Live. It's a Facebook Live series where I discuss the business of restaurants for restaurateurs, restaurant buyers and sellers, and the restaurant curious. Today we're at Flower Child Bakery. It's a gluten-free, high-end, gorgeous bakery in downtown Novato. I'll be at the end of the episode. If you like and post a comment, not at the end of the episode, next month on August 18th, I'll post the winner of a $100 gift card to Flower Child Bakery. So if you like and post a comment here on Facebook or over on LinkedIn, then in a month, you have between now, the live feed, or a month to do that. You have a chance to win a $100 gift card. And you guys, on my website now, I now have the Deep Dish Live series I've transferred it into a blog. And so if you don't want to watch it, you want to read or scan through it, There's a blog on my website. It's under Deep Dish blog. Then also there's Deep Dish gift card winners. So all the winners, I've always liked to show who the winners are first. If you like and post, it's likely you might win. Winners are selected randomly. And at the end of, so you can go on to my website and see that. Today we're going to be announcing, at the end of today, we're going to be announcing the winner of Cafe Della Valle, which is where Ed and I were a month ago in downtown St. Helena in Napa County. So I'm going to return to this topic of restaurant list prices, what they're advertised for versus what they eventually sell for, and what are some of the factors that might add like a downward pressure on that sales price. So some of you might be thinking, why doesn't the broker just figure this stuff out before it's even listed? And some brokers do that. Actually, many brokers do that. Many restaurant brokers don't even kibitz with it. They say it's the seller's responsibility. And I'll tell you, who does that benefit? I say this all the time, Ed. The business broker, the only person that it benefits to establish who's going to do it and not figure out, because really it's like a combination of the seller, the buyer, and the landlord, but that takes more work from the business broker, and I'll tell you why. So business brokers want to do that because it's easier for them. But what if a seller, the seller has no idea what the health department's going to require? They could ask them to come on site and do a site review, but what if when Karen bought this, she had no intention of running flower traps? She's going to do a totally different thing. The site review is going to be very different. She's going to pull the hood out. She doesn't even care about the hood. Something like that. So you can't guess the future. So let's say the seller commits, I'm going to take care of the site review. What if, like in the case here, you find out that the grease trap has to go in ground? All of a sudden, the proceeds of the sale are gobbling up the proceeds that were going to go in the seller's pocket. Or they hit a main, some sort of like sewer main, and the whole place has to be shut down for 30 days, or COVID hits, or whatever. The seller's left holding that bag. To me, and it's not the seller that goes and pulls that site review, it's the buyer that goes. The buyer is getting the new permit, the buyer goes to the health department, fills out the application. But is it the buyer's responsibility? I don't think so. Is it the seller's responsibility? I don't think so. Is it solely the landlord's responsibility? No. I think it's a combination of the three. And a qualified restaurant broker, such as yourself, I've done this several times, and here's, what if we did this? What if we did that? And again, rent abatement from the landlord might be a great contribution, or the seller maintaining the payment to the employees to keep them on, especially now when employees are the greatest asset of the restaurant industry right now, keeps them paid while the business is down to do these repairs. And sometimes, like I said, repairs can be brutal, like they were here, or they can be minimal. More likely than not, they're going to be brutal. So then again, why don't you go to the landlord and figure out the lease terms in advance of the sale? Because what if a 3 Michelin star chef, pastry chef, what if a pastry chef is coming here from having worked in a Michelin rated restaurant? The landlord might be like, you know what, whatever you want, because you're going to draw so much business to my properties, because maybe the landlord owns a bunch of properties in the area. So what the landlord's going to offer one buyer, they're not going to offer another buyer. So I always put in my advertising, landlord to negotiate terms with qualified buyer, because we don't know. Maybe it's going to be somebody like me. When I started out, I didn't own any real property. I had a pretty cool and illustrious background, which I didn't talk about. I'll talk about that in a minute, in the restaurant industry. So I was an interesting tenant, but I wasn't a financially sound tenant. But the landlord was able, and my broker were able to put together lease terms that I could be successful with, and the landlord could live with. The only person it benefits to nail down landlord lease terms or health department site review payments in advance is the business broker. So a little bit about me. Then I'm going to announce the winner of the Cafe Della Valle gift card, and then we're going to rejoin Karen, and she's laying out all kinds of beautiful food. So I'm a licensed broker in the state of California. I'm a very passionate restaurant broker. All I do is restaurant brokerage because it's the industry I come from. And I was that restaurant owner that a broker wouldn't work with because I didn't have money. All I had was experience. I didn't have real property. And I ended up owning and operating a restaurant that was successful. I sold it for above market, and it went on for another 10 years with other owners and operators with my same concept. But so that's why I do this business, because I'll work with those unqualified brokers, because my landlord made a lot of money from, you know, working with me. My investors made a lot of money. So I started cooking at Tassajara Zen Mountain Center. I moved to San Francisco. I worked in commercial restaurants there. I came to the North Bay because I was solicited by Amy's Kitchen to be their executive chef. And one thing I did when I was in San Francisco, I was the personal chef to the actor Don Johnson and his family. It's my claim to fame. I have been an instructor at the Culinary Institute of America at Greystone. I taught management classes to their fourth-year students. And as you can see, I love sharing knowledge about this industry. I love promoting success for everybody involved, whoever's involved in the sale or transfer of the business. And I'm a dedicated business broker. So I hope you reach out to me either through my Facebook page, my LinkedIn page. You can find more about me and my services. One quick thing. Over the last month, we created a YouTube channel, a Deep Dish Live YouTube channel that now features the entire library. So this one will be posted sometime between now and the next 30 days. But all the previous episodes appear on the YouTube channel. I think Holly's posted it on the Facebook feed for this. And anybody, so if you have friends or colleagues who don't engage with Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel and let's get that YouTube channel cranking. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce the winner of the Cafe Della Valle $100 gift card in St. Helena. It's Esther Potts. So Esther, I'll be reaching out to you through whichever social media channel you engage with, and hopefully I'll get a picture of you. You're going to appear on my my website, and I'll put this in the mail to you ASAP. If you want to win a $100 gift card to today's host restaurant, Flower Chylde Bakery, serving gluten-free, gorgeous baked goods since 2002, like and post a comment on this feed on Facebook, over in LinkedIn, and you're entered to win anytime between now, today, the live feed, or 30 days up until the time Ed and I will join you on the 18th, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. So Ed, let's go see Karen. Thank you.
So we have an array of products here. You know, we do serve hot meals, or not hot meals, but sandwiches and
savory dishes.
Yeah, savory dishes. Avocado, the infamous avocado toast. Spinach, our vegan spinach and artichoke ham pies, which are really popular, along with the bagel and egg, and our meatloaf sandwiches.
Amazing.
So,
Is there cheese in the pie?
It's a vegan.
Vegan. Oh,
So
wonderful.
it's
You
an
might have said that. I
almond cream cheese.
apologize.
Yeah.
And then here are some of the baked goods.
Yeah, so it ranges from our torts to our cookies. So this is what we call our classics. And these are kind of our breakfast items. Although the pretzel is not, but I guess it can be. So that's been a new addition over the last few months, really popular. And then our breads, which definitely people are buying.
Yes.
So soon to coming, probably within the next couple of weeks, is our sourdough. So we just developed the sourdough using millet.
Great.
Yeah.
So Karen, I know that that Flower Chylde appears at some farmers markets. Where can people find you in farmers markets?
So in the farmers market, we are on the Sunday Civic Center Market, along with the Thursday Civic Center Market.
Great.
So
Otherwise, you can find them in downtown Novato 6 days a week. They're closed on Sunday. So wonderful to see you, Karen.
and
Thank
we
you
do
for
have an online shop, so we ship all across the U.S. right now.
Oh, wonderful. And what's the ship time?
It ranges, if it's like to New York or New Jersey, it's taking about 3 days.
Great. So you can get your gluten-free, gorgeous Flower Chylde products even if you're in New York City.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Karen. It was great to see you.
Great seeing you.
So I'm going to sign off for today. I want to thank you all for joining me. My name is Ren Longmaid. I'm a restaurant consultant and broker out of Santa Rosa Business and Commercial in Sonoma County, California. Today we're at Flower Chylde Bakery, and I hope you'll join us next month when I'll be live streaming with Ed from Hop Creek Tavern. It's a gastro pub and nano brewery. Also in Napa County. We were in Napa County last month, and I'll get to see my friends and colleagues who own and operate there. And until that's August 18th at 1:30. Until then, bye-bye.